Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist at the Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the Tech Travel Geeks setup video for the POCO X3 NFC, the affordable smartphone from POCO by Xiaomi, which has some similarities to other devices we've already reviewed, but is definitely one to consider buying if your budget for a new smartphone is around about £200. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. And if you've already seen the unboxing video, you'll have seen the quick walkthrough of what the device looks like. And I recommend you check that out before watching this video. But you can watch this video on its own as a standalone video. Before I turn the device on for the second time, technically, I'm going to put the SIM card in. That's what I tend to do before I set up a new smartphone. So I'm going to open up that SIM tray with the ejector tool that was included. And you'll see that this is a hybrid tray. So it will take one SIM card and a memory card or two SIM cards. So I'm going to pop a SIM card in there and then a SanDisk Extreme memory card in the other end. That way, we should be able to have plenty of storage. So the model I purchased on Amazon is the POCO X3 NFC with 128 gigabytes of storage. And this also has 6 gigabytes of RAM. So I'm expanding it with an extra 64 gigabytes. That should give me plenty of storage. Now I've just turned the device on, and as you can see, under the reflection, you can see the MIUI logo. So this runs MIUI 12 out of the box, and here it is in all its very well designed glory. So I'm going to set this up as United Kingdom, where I am. That's where we purchased it from on Amazon. United Kingdom is definitely our region. And I'm now going to connect to my Wi-Fi network, which the Futurama fans will rejoice is called Planet Express. So it's now connecting to my fast internet connection. This is a 900 megabits internet connection, so setting up the POCO X3 NFC should be very fast. So I agree to all this information because I trust Xiaomi. So you'll have noticed there that it includes the POCO launcher, because there is an included application launcher which is a POCO one that ships on the POCO devices by Xiaomi. It differs from the standard MIUI 12 launcher or the MIUI 11 one that we saw on the Redmi Note 9S that we reviewed earlier this year. I just couldn't live with the existing launcher from Xiaomi because it didn't have an app drawer. But from what I've seen from our Chief Aperture Officer Lukash's review of the POCO F2 Pro, which he did a very good few videos about, I would say I'm probably going to be able to use the POCO X3 NFC launcher well. So I'm going to sign into my Google account now. So there we are, we're logged in. I agree to all the things. As you can see, as this is setting up, there's a nice dotch at the top. That's a dot notch. And I haven't charged the device. As it came out of the box, it had a 64% charge, which on a 5000 milliampere battery is a lot of power. So I'm going to keep all the Google services. I trust Google services as much as I trust Xiaomi. And because we're in the European Union, you'll see that there's an option to choose your default search provider. I'm personally feeling a little offended there's no Bing there. I do actually enjoy using Bing quite a lot, so I'll just have to settle for Google. Let's see what the continued setup is. So this is Google Assistant, Google's personal assistant. It should already have my data from previous devices, both my Nest home devices and smartphones and tablets and Chromebooks. You could say that I'm a very frequent user of Google services. But let's see how long it takes to just go through this setup. So we're going to just leave that and get a reminder because it took too long. Sign in with a previously used Google account? Yes. Okay. So I've been added to that. We're going to give it permissions to sync. So this is Xiaomi Cloud. I don't need to sync gallery because I'm doing it in Google Photos. Okay, I need to verify my ID. So let's start with a pattern. And so here we need to go through the password by setting a pattern, which I will do now. Okay, so that should be my pattern set. And now we can set up the fingerprint. And this side-mounted fingerprint scanner is very, very responsive. If it's anything like, and I have a feeling it definitely is, the one that we saw on the Redmi Note 9S, this will be great. I'm now working on the outer sections of my fingerprint. And that's my thumbprint done. So location, user experience program. Yes, we trust Xiaomi with all this information. And are we going to use classic or limitless theme? Dark or light? I'm going to go with dark. And so that is the setup of MIUI 12 on the POCO X3 Complete. Let's have a quick walkthrough of what MIUI 12 looks like on the POCO X3 NFC, at least on the way we've set it up with a Google account and in the United Kingdom. You should probably be aware that depending on the market you're in, some apps and services may be set up differently. So for example, if you're in the UK, until not long ago, there was no access to the Xiaomi theme store. You just couldn't get them on POCO or Xiaomi devices. So you had to change the region of your device to be able to access those features that MIUI offers. This is taking a while. It looks like my Wi-Fi is perfectly fine. It's just the POCO X3 NFC has decided to take a while to set itself up. That 20 megapixel selfie dot looks good. You can see with this white background it looks good. And with a dark theme it's practically not there. You don't notice you have a dot in that black background. And I have to say, my first impressions of this screen, now that we have a bit of variety going on, is that it is lovely. This is 120 Hz LCD screen. It's full high definition plus, which means that in this case you have 1080 by 2400 pixels. And according to the spec sheet, this is HDR10 capable, which means that if you have high dynamic range content available in video format, for example, you can be watching that on this device. So we'll see. So as you can see, notifications in MIUI 12 are showing the end of setting up the POCO X3 NFC. There are 10 updates in the System Apps Updater, that's Xiaomi's own system updates. And the SD cards that I put in is one that I just pulled straight away from the Redmi Note 9S. And within the individual apps, it gives you the option to go into dark mode. There is also a system-wide one. It's now asking me to sign in to Google for the Google thing. So that's very interesting. The POCO launcher has a shelf for Google Now or the Google Assistant. Right then, that's really interesting. After a few loops, I'm still not able to sign into the POCO launcher Google Now or Google Feed section. It's interesting because I am signed in on the device. We signed in as part of the setup. But if I go into the Google Play Store, it is available there. So let's see if there's any updates available here. Yes, a lot of updates and a lot of pre-installed apps. So we'll have a look through those. So this is the POCO launcher. Let's start from the home screen, avoid the other shelf. And in this screen, you have a selection of apps pre-installed and system ones, but there's also an app drawer, which is fantastic. It's nice and responsive. Oh, there's also swipe twice in the app drawer to view hidden app icons. So you can hide app icons. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that, but there you go. And different categories of applications are here. Now, as you can see, lots of pre-installed apps. Let's see if there's something that we don't want. So I'm fine with AliExpress. That's where I may be buying my next device to review, but I'm not sure about this block game. I'm going to long press it, go to the app info, and uninstall. So that was 46 megabytes of storage space it took up with a pre-installed game, which in my case was of no interest. Let's change this, remove this other one as well. Bubble Story. Definitely not one I'm interested in. I'm going to remove all the app data and uninstall it. Tile Fun. Yep, that's going. It's very easy to uninstall the pre-installed apps. It's not a very big issue. Some of you may find value in these apps being on the device. But in my case, I seldom use my devices for actual gaming, though I will be putting the POCO X3 NFC through its gaming tests with the most common games to see how it goes. So as you can see, it is running MIUI 12. That's MIUI 12 global version. That's the version with Google Play services. It has all the extra information about storage, for example. I really like this representation of how you're using the storage, and the SD card is represented further down as well, which is fantastic. MIUI 12, we're checking for updates, and we'll see if there's a more up-to-date version. There is. It's 253 megabytes, so it's not a small one, but because I'm on a fast internet connection, it shouldn't take too long. So MIUI 12, great that it's getting rapid updates. The animations, even just in the about screen, are really, really quite cool. So well done to Xiaomi and POCO for those niceties. They show off nicely thanks to that 120 Hz screen. Now what I'm going to do is go and see about the display, because I prefer dark mode. So we'll just enable that, dark mode. And there we go, we have dark mode. So the drop-down menu, the elements, even the part of Google where we can't sign in, they should now all be in dark mode. Or that's not finished going. So, oh, there we go. So that update has already downloaded, we're ready to install, and I will do so. But that was a quick setup of the POCO X3 NFC, a quick walkthrough of what the launcher looks like in light mode and dark mode, the fact that it has some pre-installed apps. Now, I am aware of the fact that this device, the POCO X3 NFC, has a lot of advertising in places we haven't seen it yet. And we're going to be doing a tutorial on how to disable advertising throughout the POCO X3 NFC so that you don't get annoyed by that or potentially impact your data plan if that advertising is using your SIM card to access the internet. But for now, I will just get ready to reboot the POCO X3 NFC. Thank you for watching this walkthrough of the POCO X3 NFC setup. We'll be back soon with more POCO X3 NFC related content, as well as our usual programming on the Tech Travel Geeks YouTube channel, including our drone flights at the weekend and more reviews and views on consumer electronics and technology that make the travel experience better. But for now, thanks for watching and goodbye from us.